the Blast, Revolution's newest sport kite. Hi, I'm Joe Hadzicki of Revolution Kites. Thanks for purchasing the new Blast kite. Today we're going to look at the performance characteristics of the Blast and do some comparisons with the Revolution 1.5, our standard Revolution design. The design of the Blast is a combination of both the Speed series, which is designed to be fast and powerful, along with the 1.5 standard Revolution design, which is very stable and controllable. By combining both of these design characteristics together, you have the best of both designs, both power, speed, stability, and control. The setup for your Blast is very similar to a standard Revolution design. The leading edge has the ferrules on the outside of the shaft. We can either set it up by sliding into the leading edge and fitting it inside the kite, or we can pull the whole leading edge out and fit it outside the kite. Fit the ferrule, make sure it slides in completely. Put your end cap on. The down struts on the Blast are very similar to the Speed series. 2 struts per wing, a short one and a long one. The long strut goes on the inside of the wing. Apply the bungee cord over the shaft and then put the cap on. The short one goes on the outside of the wing. Remember, the struts go on the back of the kite. Put the shock cord over the shaft and then put the cap on. Let's take a look at the shape of the sail. The leading edge of the Blast has a curve in the sail. This causes a float characteristic of the kite. We can control that by increasing and decreasing this curve. If you adjust the shock cord on the outside strut, you can either increase or decrease that curve. If the curve is too flat, it decreases the performance of the kite. If you can increase that shape, you can improve the float characteristic of the kite. To attach your flying lines to the kite, use the standard Lark's head. Put both fingers through, fold over, pinch, and insert the knot through the loop. Slide it on. Attach the bottom line the same way. Let's take a look at the bridle settings. One option is the down bridle. You can fly with or without the down bridle. With the down bridle on, it increases the sensitivity and pitch control of the kite. Flying without the down bridle tends to smooth out the flight characteristics of the kite. Flying with it might be useful for light wind conditions when you want extreme pitch control. To attach the down bridle, use a standard Lark's head and attach it over the knot on the bottom bridle. The bottom bridle has 2 possible settings. The inside increases the power of the kite. The outside smooths out the basic flight characteristics. Try different settings in different wind conditions and choose the one that you like best. All the points on the Blast are attached using a Lark's head. Slide the strut bridle through the leading edge and pull the knot tight. Attach your line set to the handles using a Lark's head. The Blast comes with graphite wrapped stainless steel extended handles. This increases the pitch control on the kite. Extended leaders on the handles also allow you to adjust the line settings. The top lines tend to stretch more than the bottom. After an hour or so of flying, take your top lines and attach them to the bottom, and your bottom lines to the top. This will even out your line stretch. For light wind flying, we suggest you use 150-pound lines, both top and bottom. Let's say below 12-mile-an-hour winds. Above 12 mile an hour, we suggest you use 200-pound line test on the top, 150-pound on the bottom. When we designed the Blast, we had fun in mind. The first thing you'll notice about its performance is its speed and power. Let's talk about how to fly the Revolution Blast. Your main goal is a smooth figure-8 motion. This is very hard to do with a standard Revolution, but this is the key to this kite. Fly it across and do a sloping turn, and then bring it across and do a sloping turn. Try to keep it powered up through that whole sequence. As it's flying across, pull it through the turn. Pull and rotate. Pull and rotate. One of the first problems you're going to run into is you're going to come across the edge and snap a turn. That's going to destroy the airflow over the wing. Go up and pull the turn and then rotate the turn. It's a combination of the two. It's actually a slide turn. Once you can get it flying smoothly and continuously, you have the essence of this kite. A dive stop, repoint it, pull smoothly. Get it back into your figure-8. The sliding motion is the key to light wind flying. The Revolution Blast will fly in extremely light conditions, below 2 miles an hour. The key to that is that slide. Pulling it to a more extreme condition, it turns into what's known as the float. In the float mode, you can float in virtually no wind at all. As you fly across, pull back on that top wing. Flying to the left, pull back on the right wing. Flying to the right, pull back on the left wing. As you fly out to the edge of the window, pull back further and further and further till the kite is actually laying out. Flip the kite around and float it back the other way. Notice the slack lines. Notice how flat the kite lays out. Because of the airfoil shape, this kite is designed to float. Look how flat it floats. Look at the extreme reach that lays the kite out and floats. The Blast is designed for floating. The inverted curve of the leading edge causes the kite to float in very light conditions. This kite isn't only being controlled by a pulling motion, it's also being controlled by a rotation of the wrists. It's a somewhat complicated move, but with practice you can gain proficiency at it. For example, to practice it, fly across to the edge of the wind, and as it gets out to the edge and the wind drops off, start to pull back on that top wing. Pull back further and further and further until it begins to float. Hit the brakes a little bit, push your thumbs forward, and the kite will start to float backwards and you're back in control of the kite again. Reverse the handle slightly and it'll float back into the window. The key, as I said before, to light wind flying is the float. To use the float in light wind flying, we're going to accelerate the kite up to altitude and then float it back to gain ground. Since we're flying in light wind, we don't have a lot of wind energy to accelerate the kite. So to accelerate the kite, we step back, generating the wind. Here's a launch. With a couple steps back, since the airfoil is so flat, you generate speed and fly to altitude. To regain ground, you float the kite away from you as you walk forward. Then practice that by doing it several times. Step back, generating the wind, and accelerating the kite to the top of the window. Turn the kite away and float as you regain your ground. Now, to incorporate that into light wind flying in general, use the stepping back acceleration to do anything, gain altitude or to do a trick. We step back, gain altitude, float back. We step back, stop it. Step back, gain altitude. Step toward it as we float away. Fly across, spin. Generating wind by stepping back. Step back again, accelerate to the top, and here comes the float. Float back to regain the ground you just used. Remember, the key to this is to accelerate the kite to altitude within a few steps. Turn the kite around and float it away from you, and you can gain 20 steps. The Revolution Blast is a very precise kite. Don't get frustrated with your first attempts. Once again, let's look at some of the problems. During a launch, we fly straight up. We're going, great, it's flying. And then it stops and starts to settle, and we try to get it to turn, and we get overturns, and we never quite get it flying. The controls we're doing are correct, they're just too much. To fix that problem, launch the kite, do a soft turn to the side, and then maybe do subtle turns. As you can see, I killed the airflow and the kite stalled out again. We need to try to get a smooth turn on the end. Launch it, fly it off to the side, pull and turn softly as you go. Pull and turn softly as you go. Pull and rotate the wrist a little. Pull and rotate the wrist. There's an over control. There's an over control. The kite is not flying because it's not moving through the air. Launch the kite, turn it to the side, and do a smooth turn. You can practice this with your 1.5 to get the basic feel. Once you have the kite flying in this manner, you've got the basics of the kite down. One of the most important skills in light wind flying, or in flying in general, is to have smooth transitions between your moves. As an example of that, we can use a turn that transitions into a sliding motion. You use the energy from the turn and turn it into the slide. Let's show you what it looks like. For example, flying the kite across, we do a spin and then pull it right into a slide. Another excellent transition move is the float. So for example, a dive stop into a float. Look at the extension on the float. The reason the float is such a great transition move is because it uses virtually no energy. That's what it's in fact designed to do, use virtually no energy. So smooth transitions are based on a fluid motion between the moves. A spin into a float, a spin into a slide. Practice those moves. A great skill to develop is to maintain the altitude of the kite while doing a spin. You can actually maintain or increase the altitude while you're doing a spin. The trick to this is as the kite spins, you pump the wing that is climbing. Left wing, left wing, left wing, left wing, left wing, right wing, right wing, right wing, right wing. If you pump them both, you can actually double pump the kite and do it even faster. Right wing, left wing, right wing, left wing in reverse, right wing, left wing in reverse, right, left, right, left, right, left. Even in no wind conditions, you can maintain altitude during a spin or actually gain altitude during that spin. Let's take a look at a sequence and analyze it a little bit. Taking off from a reverse launch, reverse it off and step back, and I float it. Turn around, float back toward the center of the window, step back, generating some wind, and smoothly accelerating it into our figure 8. Spin it and move right into a slide. Step back to generate just a little bit of wind. I'm off to the edge now. Flip and float it back the other way. Step back, accelerate it up, dive stop. Lay it out in the float move so that I don't fall out of the air. I don't have any speed to fly the kite right now, so I'm floating it instead. I turn it around, float it back across. As it floats across, it's picking up speed. I move right into my smooth figure 8 again. These are light wind techniques, and it's light wind right now. We're at about 4 miles an hour and dropping to 2. Here's another one. Dive, stop, spin, pumping, left wing, left wing, left wing. I'm maintaining altitude. Float it out to the side. I don't have any airspeed to fly it. Float it back across. I'm stepping back to generate just enough wind. Starts to pick up speed, and now it's flying in my figure 8 again. Spin, back into it, a smooth transition. I just kept flying in it. Smooth turn, spin, spin. I'm spinning the wrong way. Spin left, pump. Pump right. Pump right. Pump right wing. Pump right wing. Pump right wing. I don't have enough wind to keep it flying, so I pull on it and pump it for altitude. Float. Turn back, float it to the center of the wind. Pick up speed, and I'm in my figure 8 again. Spin, float, figure 8. Spin, upside down slide. Step back to generate airspeed. It stops. The kite's laying on its nose, but its lower tips are toward me. I'll step back, the wind will get underneath it, and flip the kite up. Reverse launch, float. Turn it around, float back the other way, gaining ground. Turn back, as it picks up speed, I move right into my figure 8. Clear the lines, wrong way again, spin, pump, 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 clear, float. Turn around, float, gain speed, back into my figure 8. Take it up, accelerating by stepping back, diving down, stopping, turn it over, and land it.
You're ready to start talking.
For a little extra pull, or even just a little more excitement and flash to your flying, the blast stacks excellently. It tracks extremely well, and you can do all the basic tricks with it. Once you have the basic skills of the blast down, it's no problem to transfer them to a stack. Especially in light winds, it's fun to have that extra pull, and people just love to watch it. Float, switch, float back, pick up speed, accelerate into a figure 8, float the turn, accelerate into a figure 8, dive, stop, spin, and float out. Float back to center, spin, fly out. Thanks again for purchasing the Revolution Blast. If you have any questions, be sure to ask your fellow flyers out on the flying field. And if you happen to see us out there, be sure to stop by and say hi. Check us out on our website at revkites.com. Thanks again.